Question 8, paper 1. Margaret has some goats. The goats produce an average total of 21.7 litres of milk per day. Okay, and that's for 280 days. So just getting in the habit, going through the question, jotting down the details that they give you. The milk is sold in half-litre bottles. Okay, and generally before you even know what the question's asking, you take a glance at the sort of things you've doodled down, and your brain's probably already going through some connections here. So there's an obvious connection between this number and that number because of the days involved, and there's an obvious connection between that number and that number because of litres involved. It says work out an estimate for the total number of bottles that Margaret will be able to fill with the milk. First of all, estimate question, you want to round any of those to nicer values so that generally any of the sums you could do, you would do in your head. So this is sort of kind of try to promote the skills where if you are abroad in a country and you know a rough foreign exchange rate, if you round that you could kind of figure out in your own currency how much it maybe costs in Thailand in terms of baht or whatever. You make estimations all the time, okay? So making that number nicer, 21.7, I'm going to change that to 20 litres per day. 280 days, make that a nicer number, 300. In terms of half-litre bottles, half is one of those numbers that's slap bang in the middle of something you'd want to round it to. So I'm not going to round it down to 0 litres because then it kind of blows apart the question in general. And even rounding up to 1 doesn't make much sense either. So if you are closer to a half of any particular rounding, you would probably stick with it. Obvious exceptions would be something like 21.5, where obviously 20 is still a nicer number. Notice with this one, we've rounded down, and with that one, we've rounded up. Generally the questions are going to be done in such a way that that will happen, and that just kind of makes the fact that your answer will be probably quite close to it. If you had lots and lots of things that you're rounding down, every time you round down your answer is going to get further away. So usually they'll tailor it in such a way that kind of like your two wrongs don't make a right, but in this sense your two wrongs will make a pretty decent average of an estimate. Okay, so the question's asking how much bottles are needed to fill all the milk in the year. So 20 litres in a day, 300 days. Straight away you can figure out how much litres there are in total. So I'll put here total litres is going to be 20 times 300. Very straightforward sum to do in your head. 6,000 litres in total. Okay, because you want to fill them in half-litre bottles, it's one bottle is half a litre. If you want to convert that to 1 litre, you would need 2 bottles. Okay, so for 1 litre you need 2 bottles and you have 6,000 litres, then you're going to need 6,000 of them, 6,000 times 2. Gives you 12,000 bottles as your estimate.